Hi, and welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating podcast. My name is Kristen Jones, and thank you so much for joining me this week. I am so excited about today's podcast, and I feel like I say that every week, and I probably do. But this week, I'm really excited about this topic because I feel like there are so many ideas and beliefs. And frankly, I'm just going to call them lies and myths. Myths is a nice way of saying it. They're just frankly lies. Okay. They're just flat out lies that all of us have been told, because we all know that if we're an emotional eater, we are a professional dieter on top of that. And that's, we should have business cards that says, "Hi, I'm an emotional eater and I'm a professional dieter." And because we are so good at dieting and we dieted all of our lives, we have all of these ideas. And again, myths, lies that people have told us, that we have learned, and we can't let those go. And what, unfortunately, they hold us back from being successful. And in fact, because of these beliefs, they oftentimes act as the igniter, the thing that it starts self-sabotage, that starts you down the road of, "Oh, this isn't working. I can't do this. There's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I can't lose weight. I never lose weight. This is, something's wrong with me." That's what these beliefs and these myths and these lies do. And so I'm here to bust them open. I'm here to tell and to make sure that y'all know that these are not these are absolutely not true, and I will explain to you why they are not true, and then what you can do about kind of sidestepping them, and what you need to do instead. So that is what we are going to talk about today. So today we are live on my personal profile on Facebook. And if you are listening to this as a podcast, welcome. Again, my name is Kristen Jones. I am the owner and CEO of Kristen Jones Coaching, and I am the founder of the Breakthrough Emotional Eating community on Facebook, and also the founder and owner of the Breakthrough Membership, which is a paid monthly membership that I have just about 75 women working with me, and it is quite the place. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that, and how all of these things kind of play in. All of these myths that we're going to talk about and these lies that we talk about today are things that people come in with into the membership, and come into the free group believing, and we completely blow those things out of the water because they're just not true. And again, they lead you right down the path of self-sabotage, and that never that doesn't get anybody anywhere. So let's get rolling here. So I started off thinking I had 7, but then I remembered the most important one that I can't believe I forgot. So this makes it 8. We're going to talk about 8 myths that people believe. And I'm going to start off with the one that I forgot, because I think this is probably the one that I hear the most about, and that I frankly have to talk people off the ledge all the time about. So myth number 1. This myth is that weight loss should always happen, and it should happen every day. You should lose weight every day. Now, I'm just going to tell you, that is not true. Okay. That is not true. If you are wanting to lose weight, and you know that we do not use the word diet, because I do not have people diet. I don't believe in diets. And so if you are trying to lose weight, you should never have the expectation that you will lose weight every day. Never. Because that is when you get that in your mind, or you should always be losing weight. And if you stay at the same weight, it should only be for one day, and then you should lose the next day. Yeah, that's not true. Okay. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're following your plan perfectly. You should never plan on losing weight every day. And I will tell you that if you are on a plan and you are losing weight every day, then you are on the wrong plan, because what you are then doing is you are dramatically denying your body of the nutrients that it needs. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, because that gets involved in a lot of the other things we're going to talk about. But I want everybody to hear me. 1 to 2 pounds a week, no more than 2 pounds a week, no more. Should not ever be more than 2 pounds a week. If it's more than 2 pounds a week, you are restricting, and we're going to talk about restricting. Oh, are we going to talk about restricting? But you are restricting too much. Okay. So 1 to 2 pounds. And I didn't say you should lose 2 pounds a week. It's 1 to 2 pounds. So if you lose a pound in a week, that should not be the reason that you then message me and go, this isn't working. I've only lost a pound. I'm going to be like, no, you're doing the right thing. You're doing everything right. We cannot expect that we will always lose weight. That is not how our bodies work. It is not, when we do that, that's a dramatic diet. That's a restrictive diet. And that's something that weight's going to come off and it's going to come right back on. So that's what we need. We need to get that mindset piece first of realizing, changing our expectations, because we oftentimes set ourselves up to be very disappointed because we have these high expectations of, oh, I should be losing all of this weight. I should lose weight every day. I should be just happy and joyful because my weight's just dropping off me. Well, that's just not how life goes. And it's not how a healthful and slow and sustainable weight loss can happen. So put that out of your mind, 1 to 2 pounds a week. And again, it's 1 to 2, not the expectation is you absolutely should lose 2 pounds. No, it might not happen. All right. Number 2, you must make massive, massive sweeping changes to your eating in order to lose weight. You must go from eating Burger King to salads in 24 hours. Like that's the only way you can lose weight. The only way you can lose weight is just to make these huge, dramatic, sweeping changes and to completely alter your life. Totally. Okay. That would be wrong. And the reason why that's wrong is that our bodies and our brain are amazingly powerful. And what our brain is always on the alert for is whether or not we are in danger of dying. If something changes in what we do, your brain sends out like an emergency broadcasting system. It's like, it sends out these signals that no, something is wrong. There's too many changes happening at one time. We need to lock things down. And so if we make these huge sweeping changes, yes, might you lose weight? Absolutely. But your body is going to fight you every step of the way because your body does not want massive changes to happen. And so what happens is that's why people can, and I think everyone, and I'm going to ask everybody who's on here live, if you have lost weight, a lot of weight on a diet and been there, gotten to like whatever your goal was or gotten to a certain weight and you stayed there for like a day or two, and then all of a sudden the weight just came right back on. Just put the word regain into the comments. Okay. So if you've lost a good amount of weight on a restrictive diet, and then you were there for like 2 days, and then all of a sudden it's like the weight just started creeping back on, and it was frustrating, and it was difficult, and you didn't, it was really upsetting to you. If you've done that, that's because of this myth of we have to make all these huge sweeping changes, and that's the only way that we can do it. No, your body is going to fight you all the time about that. It's going to make it so difficult for you. And you will have a really, really difficult time. But the moment you put your guard down and the moment you decide, oh, I think I'll just have I haven't had ice cream for 3 months. I think I'll just have a little bit of ice cream. Your brain is like, here it is. Here's the opening. Let's go. And then it has you eat half the carton, and then the whole train starts and all the weight comes back on because it doesn't want change. Your brain does not want change. It wants everything to stay the same, even if it's unhealthy. So we have to be very aware of that. You make smaller changes and you don't make completely dramatic changes. As I said, going from eating Burger King to salads, we can't do that and not have our body and our brain go, something's up. We're going to just lock everything down. We're going to make sure this is so difficult for her that she's never going to be able to survive it. We have to understand, and part of the understanding is understanding how your brain works. And that is absolutely the key. And that will be something that I will talk about numerous times in this list, is understanding how your brain works and how your body works, and understanding how that is. So what do we not want to do? We do not want to make sweeping changes. We want to incrementally start to make small changes of things that we do in order to put our bodies and our brain in the best possible situation to be able to support us as we move through. But we also have to understand how our brain works. And that's one of the things that we talk about. And anyone who's watching live, who's a member of the Breakthrough membership knows that's what we talk about. Like, we don't talk about food, as you saw, and I will mention this, that I have a journal, and the journal is called, because this is what we always say, it's called "It's Not About the Food." And that's what this whole thing, it's not about food. Okay, losing weight is really not about food. It's about all sorts of other things. It's about our thoughts and our beliefs and our brain and how our body works. It is not about the food. So it's important that that's another myth in of itself. It is not about the food. It really is about so many other things, and your brain being one of them. But dramatic changes, body doesn't like it, and it will push back, and it will not it will allow you to lose weight, but oh my gosh, that weight will come back on so quickly. And as we all know, there's usually more coming on after when we regain weight. All right. Number 3, restricting certain foods is necessary to lose weight. So cookies, nah, they're gone. Ice cream, sorry. Candy, no, you can't do it. Like, you can't have anything. You can't have anything sweet. You have to eliminate sugar. You should really not have anything fried. You can't do any of it, like all of it. Like, you got to restrict food. No, that's probably, and again, as some of you may be listening and going, "Oh my gosh, she is crazy." Nope, I'm really not. Really not. And I will tell you, as an emotional eater, this is probably the most important thing that I can tell people, is restricting, which goes hand in hand with dieting, restricting what you eat, and telling yourself, well, there's certain foods that I can't eat because those foods will make me gain weight. The more you tell yourself that, the more your desire for those particular foods skyrockets. It's just how our brain works. When we are denied something, when we're told we can't have something, that is what we want. That is what we will go to the ends of the earth to get. And that is, it not only will intensify the cravings for those foods, but it will also make you completely focus on food. I know so many people who come into the group and say, I just want to stop focusing on food all the time. Like, I want to stop. I want food not to be the center of my life. I want to stop thinking about food. And I will tell you, the way you stop thinking about food is allowing yourself to eat foods that you want to eat. Not restricting, not telling yourself you can't have certain things, because again, that just exacerbates the issue. It just intensifies all of your thoughts and your desires for those foods. So you have to realize that restricting only makes that situation worse. And when we take away the forbiddenness of food, and we make food just food, we don't give it any other sort of value. We don't make it our best friend. We don't make it the warm blanket. We don't make it our boyfriend or our husband or our wife. We don't do any of those things. We just make food, and you can eat any kind of food. That's where that's the mindset and the thought pattern that we need to get to. And I know for some of you, it is like, that is such a scary thought, to think like, well, I don't know what to eat. And, I saw a lot of people in the post that I made in the group about what frustrates you about weight loss. And somebody wrote, like, I don't know what to eat. Like, all you got to eat is what you like to eat, but you don't have to eat it like it's the last time you're ever going to have it. And that's one of the problems with restricting, is we get into, I restrict, I have this heightened desire for this food, And the moment I decide that I'm going to have some of it, my brain sends out the emergency signal that says, you better eat as much as you can because you're never going to see this again. And you better eat every little bit of it. And I don't care how full you are, just eat it because we're never going to see it again. We've got to take away that restrictiveness of, one, we can't have it. And then if we do have it, we have to eat it all. And we have to eat every little bit of it because it's going to go away again. Probably the most powerful thing that I learned, and the most powerful phrase that I can tell anyone is, food is not going anywhere. No one is going to take it from you. And it's always there tomorrow. You don't have to eat everything that you want the moment it's sitting in front of you. You don't have to eat everything that you want. You can actually have it the next day and the next day and the next day if you want it. But when we tell ourselves, oh, this is it, your brain does something crazy and it just wants it and wants to hoard it and you become a food hoarder. And that's where people get into a lot of problems. So we really have to try and remember that again, that restricting does not, mentally, it does not work. All right. Number 4. One of the things for so many of us, because we've done this back and forth, lose 25 pounds, gain 40, lose 40, gain back 50. You go this back and forth and back and forth. There is this belief that weight loss is not sustainable. And I will tell you that weight loss, if done correctly, and if done not dieting, but in looking at how you're eating, why you're eating, the emotions behind it, and then working on yourself, working on your own feelings about yourself, how you talk to yourself. If you lose weight in that way, that's a very, very different way of losing weight. And it's a way that will allow you to be able to sustain your weight because you will understand more about yourself. Now, one of the things that I talk about all the time in the membership and the members, if you're watching live, you can you can write whatever you want in the comments about, oh yeah, Kristen tells us all about when that happens to her. But there are times I still have. I mean, I'm never gonna say that I'm not an emotional eater, because I will be an emotional eater till the day I die. And I know that, and I've come to accept that. Do I have a better handle on it? 1000%. Can I manage it? Absolutely. And that's what I teach. And that's what I want for people to learn, how to manage their food, how to manage their relationship with food, but not make the emotional eating go away. Because I'm sorry to tell you, emotional eating, your natural desire to want to soothe and cope with food, those thoughts aren't going anywhere. We can't remove those thoughts from our head. We can't remove those beliefs that people have given us. We can quiet them down so they're not the first thought that comes to our mind, but we can't ever get rid of our thoughts. We can't ever eliminate thoughts. We can just turn them down, turn the volume down, and turn the volume up on positive thoughts that do support us. But we have to be really, really aware of the idea that there has to be a way for anyone to lose weight in a way that is supportive and nurturing and kind, and that allows you to eat in a way that you want to eat for the rest of your life. Because the reason why weight loss is sustainable isn't because weight loss isn't sustainable. It's because diets aren't sustainable. Because nobody can be in that artificial setting of a diet and be super controlled and do that for the rest of their lives. I mean, that's my one thing. I always will say, I never want anybody having to go to a friend's house and whip out their measuring cup and be like, okay, thanks for having me over. I get to have a half a cup of rice. Can I measure that out can I measure it out? Embarrassing. No, you don't get to. We get to be real people. We get to go on cruises. We get to go on vacation. We get to go to people's houses. We get to go to restaurants and learn how to listen to our bodies, not learn and listen to a book that tells us, okay, this is how many carbs you can have. This is how much grams of protein. Nobody wants to be told what to do for the rest of their lives. No, that's not going to work. So again, weight loss is sustainable if the weight loss is done in a way that supports and nurtures and actually helps a person work on all the other things that are going on besides just needing to lose weight. All right, number 5. I love this one. If y'all didn't know, in order to lose weight, you got to be miserable. That's kind of the rule. It's like you have to be miserable. Life has to suck. It has to be horrible. And when you get to your goal weight, that's when life gets really happy. Sorry to tell you, that's not it. That's not the truth. You don't have to be miserable to lose weight. And you also don't have to wait until you lose weight to be happy. And if you are losing weight to make your life happy, then you're losing weight for the wrong reasons. Because I will tell you, there are so many, it's one of the reasons why most people gain weight back is because they lose weight, they get to their goal weight, and they expect that suddenly their lives are going to be rainbows and unicorns and, flowers and flower petals and it's going to smell like roses and it's going to be absolutely fabulous and no one's ever going to get mad at me and everyone's going to be kind and respectful. Yeah, no, sorry. That's burst that bubble. That's not happening. And then that upsets people and they feel like, well, why the heck did I do this? If my life still blows, if my life is still horrible, why am I doing this? Why did I lose all that weight just so I could still be miserable? Well, it's because they were working on the wrong thing. Because I will tell you that if your life is not what you want it to be, it's not because of your weight. It's because of a whole lot of other things that you get to work on. We all get to work on and we all can work on. And it doesn't mean there's something wrong with your life. It just means that maybe you've been focusing on the wrong thing. And instead of focusing on the outside, let's focus on what's going on within us, how we're feeling about ourselves, how we're treating ourselves, what words we're saying to ourselves. Those are the things that really matter, not just in weight loss, but in overall life happiness. That's what we have to start looking at. And that is absolutely what I look at and what I share with people in the membership and anyone who works with me is this is more about how do I feel about myself? What are the words I say to myself? How am I treating myself? Because, and that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are in your weight loss, or if you haven't lost a pound, you got to start being nicer to yourself because nothing is going to change. Nothing physical will ever change permanently if we do not change the mental part of how we speak to ourselves, what we say to ourselves, and what we believe about ourselves. All those things have to be examined and have to be looked at. And that is exactly what we do every day in every lesson in the membership, on every coaching call. We are always talking about, well, how are we talking to ourselves? What are we saying? What is the story I'm telling myself? That's what has to be worked on. And I think that to me is the most powerful thing. That feeds right into number 6. And number 6 is that belief. It's just eat less, move more. It's just about what you're eating and how much exercise you're doing. And it has nothing to do with your brain. It has nothing to do with emotions. It has nothing to do with how you think about yourself. All wrong. All wrong. Because I know so many of you, and I know I've had so many people come into the membership and tell me, like, I know there's something more to this. I know there's something going on with me, that this isn't just about what I'm eating and if I'm exercising or not. It like there is something, because I want this so bad, but why don't I do it? Why don't I follow through? Well, that has nothing to do with what you're eating. It has everything to do with how you're thinking about yourself and how you're talking to yourself and what you're saying to yourself and the beliefs that you have about yourself and your life and your ability to even be in control of your life. So all those things have to be taken into consideration. All those things have to be looked at and broken down and figured out. And then in most cases, we have to start making some better choices about what we're thinking about and what we're saying to ourselves. All of it super, super important. And so that piece of just saying, oh, it's just about what you eat and how much you move, you could not be more incorrect. And frankly, I will tell you a little secret that the diet industry does not want anyone talking about this stuff. They do not want us to talk about, thoughts and feelings and emotions and what we, how we talk to ourselves and negative self-talk. And oh no, we don't, that's ridiculous. No, that's everything. That's all the things we need to be focusing on. So eat less, move more, not the answer. Look at our brain, look at how we think, look at our thought processes, look at how we feel about ourselves, and then go about making the changes that we need to make in order to feel better about ourselves, to be kinder to ourselves, to start loving ourselves exactly where we are, not waiting until we lose weight. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to be addressed. All right, number 6. I believe it's no, 6, 5. Hold on a second. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's 7. I'm gonna that's that far. 7. All right. I will tell you all, this one has always frustrated me so much. And I cannot even begin to tell you how many websites, how many articles I've read, because I do my own, I listen to what other people, and I, go online, I'll listen to what other people talk about when it comes to emotional eating and other suggestions that people make about, how to address emotional eating. And this particular myth comes up almost every single time. And as soon as I see it, I'm like, nope, I'm not even listening to this person because they don't know what they're talking about. There is a myth that if you want to lose weight and that if you want to really learn to manage your emotional eating, that you can't have any foods that you like in your house. You can't. You have to ban any like mildly tempting food. It's got to be completely eliminated from your house. It can't be there, out of sight, out of mind, lock it up, whatever. And that is probably the most misleading and the most destructive thing that can be that someone can be told, because you're looking at the wrong thing. You're looking at basically you're giving the food all the power. And that's always the problem, is if we give the food the power to make our lives better, to like, oh, I'm so upset. Oh, food will make me feel better. The ice cream will make me feel better. The cookies will make me feel better. We have absolutely turned every ounce of power that we have over to an inanimate object that does not care and does not want to have that power, but we have just given it away. So it has all the power. And suddenly we are, I want to say ruining the lives of other people who live with us, because most of us don't live by ourselves. But if you are lucky like me, and I do live by myself, but in most cases, most people don't live by themselves. Most people don't have the ability. And we are so quick to say, oh, well, it's because I've got this, I've got a child, I've got a husband, I've got a spouse, I've got a wife who is, oh, they just keep, they keep having all these good things in the house. Again, we're getting ahead and we're blaming the food and we're giving the food all the power. No, you have the power. You have the power to decide, what are the thoughts that I'm having and what are the thoughts that I'm avoiding that I don't want to feel, and instead I'd rather eat something. And then then I eat it and then I blame that it's their fault. No, it's not their fault. I got to look at what I'm doing. I got to look at my thoughts. What are my thoughts? What are my feelings? So one of the things that I really emphasize with any client that I work with is personal responsibility. Is nobody forces you to eat anything. Nobody forces you to eat when you're not hungry, or eat more than you need to eat, or eat past satisfied. No one makes you do that. You choose to, and you can choose to take the steps to not do that. Every single one of us has it in our power. Every single one of us. And I know there's somebody listening to this who's shaking their head going, she doesn't know me. She doesn't know. I just can't do it. And the more you tell yourself that you can't do it, you absolutely are right. You won't be able to. That's the power of our brain. And that is what we have to work on, is what are the things that we tell ourselves all the time about our ability to be able to lose weight? If you're somebody who is constantly, I'm going to call you out right now. If you're somebody, because I know some of you are going to be like, oh, that's totally me. And that's okay. That's okay. You don't need to be embarrassed. You don't need to feel ashamed. Everybody does it. But what are you doing about it? That's my question. But if you are a person who is constantly telling them, well, this just doesn't work. Oh, I can't look at it. I was really good. And like the scale didn't move up. There's just something I just can't do this. I just can't lose weight. If you keep saying that, you are 100% guaranteed of getting that outcome. You won't be able to. So what are you willing to do to change those thoughts that you are creating, no one else, that you are creating? And then in turn, you are creating the circumstance that you have said that you don't want, but yet you are responsible for reinforcing, well, I can't gain weight. I can't lose weight. I can't lose weight. Nope. No, this doesn't work with me. There's something wrong with me. The more we say that, the more our brain goes, oh, let me find as much proof as I can to prove that she's right, because I want to make her happy and I want her to feel really good about herself. So I'm going to show her all the ways that she's right. She can't lose weight. That's not what we want. So that is probably the first thing and the most easily accessible change that anyone can make. You got to start paying attention. How are you talking to yourself? What are the things that you are saying to yourself? How are you throwing yourself under the bus and then backing the bus up over and over and over yourself, because you just keep burying yourself in negative self-talk and belief that you can't do any of these things? Because your brain will absolutely abide by that. It will go right along with it. It'll say, oh, you can't lose weight. You're right. You can't. And we're not going to do it. So that is that thing that really, that negative self-talk, it is powerful. You are powerful, but make it powerful in the positive way and not in the way that you are currently doing. So how we address that, how I address that, is through the use of affirmations, through the use of gratitude, through, committing to yourself every day about how you're going to talk to yourself, and then being accountable at the end of the day. How did I talk to myself today? Was I a jerk? Did I say mean things? If I did, okay, I got to work on that. Tomorrow I'll try to do better. Tomorrow I'll try to catch myself and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that to you. Whatever it is, but we have circumstances set in place. We have things, we have, all these guidelines that I really try to share with my clients about how do we talk to ourselves? What are the things we say? Because if we are garbage in, is going to be garbage out. So if we talk to ourselves in a really negative way, that is going to really impact the results that we get in our lives in any area. So we have to be really aware of that. All right. And number 8, the last one. This is something that has definitely dramatically changed for me. There is a belief that when you, or if you want to lose weight, that you have to weigh every single day. And some people believe that in order to lose weight, you have to weigh multiple times a day. Weight on the scale is it's just information. It's not a judgment about the kind of person you are. It's not saying that you are either a good person or a bad person, depending on what the scale reads. But so many of us do that. If you're watching live, just write me if you feel when you get on the scale and it's not the reading that you want. How many of you blame yourselves? How many of you make yourself a bad person? Actually, I don't want you to write me. I want you to write bad person. I want you to write the phrase bad person. If you are someone who, when you get on the scale, if it doesn't read what you want, and what you're expecting, immediately negative talk, beat yourself down. I'm a bad person. And if you're in the membership and you're somebody who used to do that, you can explain that, yeah, I used to do that, way better now. But really think about how you talk to yourself when it comes to being on the scale and it comes to measuring your progress. Because the scale, again, is just an instrument, it's just an instrument of measurement. And it's not to be used to beat yourself up. It's not to judge your value as a human being, ever. You don't need to weigh every day. There are way too many variables that come into play that throw things off, that basically throw off all the good work that you've done. A couple of them, and I was gonna include this in a different myth, but I will include it in this one. Sleep. You don't get a good night's sleep, absolutely your weight's going to be impacted by that. You don't drink enough water, don't even think. If you're not drinking water, you're not going to be losing weight. I will tell you that. And again, and if you're stressed and all you're doing is worrying, and you are, you're unconsciously eating, you're not recognizing when you're actually, legitimately having real physical hunger, but you're stressed all the time. You're uptight, you have all sorts of, angst going on in your life, you're worrying all the time. All of those things are going to impact it from one day to the next. So weighing every day is not necessary. Weighing to just make sure that you're keeping yourself accountable, you're keeping yourself committed, that's something totally different. And most people, I will tell you all honestly, I do not weigh. I allow my clothes let me know exactly where I am. I will just, I know, I can tell by how my body feels. I can be honest and tell what I've been eating, not what I've been eating, how much I've been eating, how I've been eating. And I just have to be honest with myself. And so we just have to all be, we just have to be honest and accountable to ourselves. But if the scale is something that you need to have and you want to use that, absolutely, totally fine. But how are you using that information? If you're using it to chastise yourself and to judge yourself and to beat yourself up, weighing is not necessarily something that if it brings you down and it really impacts how you feel about yourself, you may want to think about a different way of monitoring your progress. And again, that monitoring could be doing measurements, could be using clothes. And there's a number of different ways that you can do that. But the scale, we do not need to be weighing every day. It's not really necessary. But again, as long as we're not beating ourselves up, that's the most important thing. All right. I am not sure if we have questions. Let me see. I'm going to flip on over to the group. Let's see. Kathy, do we have questions that I need to answer? I'm just going to look for you to put a little comment in there for me if there's anything that I need to answer. If there's any sort of questiones that have come up. Okay. Lori Wright, you can come on and listen to my podcast and be on live anytime. Thank you for that comment. That was very sweet. I'm so glad this is I'm so glad this was helpful. So glad. All right. So y'all, if you are, again, listening on the podcast, thank you for being here. Listening live here in the group or on my personal profile, thank you for being here. But lastly, I think it's just the most important thing that I want to make sure that oh, Lori, write your question out. I'll just do my little last bit here. I think what's really important is that when as I was talking about these things and I was mentioning the different myths and the different ways that you can that things can be addressed. The question that I would always, I would want everyone to think about is, what is it that what are you willing to do? We have to be really honest with ourselves about why we want to do this. If you're looking to manage your emotional eating, if you're looking to change your relationship with food, and you're looking to lose weight and feel really good, why are you wanting to do that? And are you willing? Because a lot of times, I mean, these things are changing. Making a change is hard. I don't care what it is. The change is exciting. It's the transition from one change to the next, or it's a transition from where you are to where you want to be. That's the part that's hard. Change is great. Like losing weight, that's awesome. The process of it, not so much. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to tell anybody that it's easy. But what are you saying to yourself about your ability to do hard things? What are you saying to yourself about your willingness to focus and reach a goal, and realizing that you don't have to be happy all the time. You don't have to feel fabulous all the time. One of the things that's super important, and I think I didn't get a chance to put this in, but one of the things that I learned as I went through my life coaching certification was, I'm not, as a human being, I am not meant to be happy all the time. Ever. No one is. Our lives are 50-50, 50% positive emotion, 50% negative emotion. And not one person on this planet can change that. Nobody gets to have 70-30. No one. I don't care who you are. You do not get, everyone's lives works at 50-50. And so I ask you to think about, what are you willing to do to just be at your 50-50, but to work to do something and to accomplish something that is important to you? That we all have to, kind of dig deep and look at, like, what am I willing to do? And do I want, and do I want to do it? And there is so much help out there. I will tell you that when I was in the depths of my emotional eating, I didn't know who to turn to. And that's one of the reasons why I started my program. It's why I started my business. I became a coach. It's because I knew I didn't have there was nothing for me to turn to. And so I don't want that for people who are struggling with this now. And there is help available, and there is the membership. There is a lot of help out there. And it's, what are you willing to do to improve your life? Because, and it's not always easy. I mean, I will tell you, there are so many people on this call right now that are doing it. They're doing the work, and it's not easy, but they're seeing some amazing results, and they're having some incredible successes, and their lives are so different from the way they were when they first started. But they're doing the work. And so, you are welcome. We'd love to have you come in and do the work with us. But you have to remember, you have to think for yourself, what am I willing to do in order for me to put myself in the best possible position to have the life that I want? So that's the piece that I would ask you to think about. And again, I'll put in the show notes. And Kathy will drop the link she already has, because she's just amazing. Thank you, Kathy. She has dropped the link for the information about the membership. Y'all, it is available to everybody. It is affordable. It is life-changing. And I would love to be able to work with you and have you learn more about what it is that has changed so many people's lives. So if you're interested, you just click on the link, or send me a DM. Today, you guys know that I can't necessarily respond today, but I will definitely get back to you. So we'll definitely connect. So thank you, podcast listeners. So appreciate you being along with us. Those people who are live on my personal profile, thank you for being here. Have a happy rest of your day, and I will see you all next week. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we will see you next week. Bye, y'all.